Hello, welcome back to fractional calculus class. My name is Sondodo Afemi Godogbe. Today we'll be checking Riemann-Leibniz fractional derivative, and then we'll also be checking capital fractional derivative. But before then, let us recall the Riemann-Leibniz fractional integral. You can check our previous video for that. We have our Riemann-Leibniz integral a to x of alpha the order of f of x to be 1 over gamma alpha integral a to x minus u of alpha minus 1 f of u du. So this is our Riemann-Leibniz fractional integral. So out of this, since we know that the opposite of integration is differentiation, so in order to get the fractional derivatives of this integral, that we now later call Riemann-Leibniz, which is the differentiation of a factor a to x of alpha of f of x is the differentiation of our integral. Differentiation of our integral. But what we just happened that we have to extend our alpha to n minus alpha. So extending that, we have dn by the xn. We have integral a to x n minus alpha. So writing this in full, we have dn exn 1 over gamma n minus alpha integral a to x minus u alpha minus 1 n minus alpha minus 1 and f of u du. So this is what we call the Riemann-Leibniz fractional derivative. Alright, so Riemann-Leibniz opinion that we first of all find the integration of the function, then we can later find the differentiation, then we have our fractional derivative. But however, we also have capital fractional derivative. Capital fractional derivative. This man is of opinion that we should first of all find the differentiation of the function, then we can later find the integration. Okay, so that's just a slight difference between capital fractional derivative and Riemann-Leibniz fractional derivative. So let's take this example and see the best out of these two formula. Example, we have find the fractional derivative or calculate the fractional derivative of f of x equals to c, where c is a constant. That is non-variable, no independent variable attached to it. So let's calculate this now. So first of all, making use of the Riemann fractional derivative. Let's see what we are going to have as our results. So we have this as our formula. The integration of x n minus alpha of c now. So expanding this, you have the n dxn the bracket 1 over gamma n minus alpha integral a to x minus u n minus alpha minus 1 f of u, which is c, then du. Since this is a constant, then we can just take it outside, whereby we find the integration of this. That is, we are going to have dn dxn c over gamma n minus alpha integral a to x minus u n minus alpha minus 1 then du. So integrating using substitution method, then we are going to have dn over the xn c over gamma n minus alpha. So if we integrate using the substitution method, if we differentiate this, that will be minus 1. So we have negative. Then this we have x minus u. Then we add 1 to this. According to substitution method rule, n minus alpha. Then the same power we have also as our numerator, and our denominator rather, n minus alpha. Then our limit a to x. And don't forget, we integrate respect to u. So this upper and lower limit, we are going to substitute it only for u. So substituting that for u, we have the n over the xn c over gamma n minus alpha. So if you, for the upper limit now, which is x, if you substitute for u, that will be x minus x, which is 0, and 0 is power anything is 0, and 0 divided by anything is 0, and this also become 0. So you have 0 minus minus. So because of this negative, you can just have it as positive. So substitute u for a, then we have x minus a over n minus alpha, then we have n minus alpha. So if we simplify that, we have the n dxn, we have c over gamma n minus alpha, we have x minus a, n minus alpha over n minus alpha. So we are through with the integration now. The next operation is the differentiation. So we are differentiating in respect to x. So we are going to take those constant times outside. That is c over n minus alpha gamma n minus alpha. Then we have the n over the xn, and get x minus a n minus alpha. Okay, so in our previous videos, we already find the power derivatives if y equals to x raised to power n. We already find out that the n y over the xn, okay, the alpha rather, that is a fractional derivative, so power is given as the power here factorial is n factorial, then n minus the order of derivative gamma, n minus the order of derivative plus 1, then we have x n minus the order of derivative, which is alpha. So going by the same thing, let me take my pen. We are going to have, okay, let me use it, c over n minus alpha gamma n minus alpha. Then we have what the power we have here, which is n minus alpha factorial, just that we have the power here as the factorial over gamma, the power n minus f, which stands for n alone, n minus alpha, then minus alpha, which is the order of derivative. So the order of derivative is n, so we have minus n, then plus 1, we have x minus a, that's the whole value, that is x represents. Then we also have n minus alpha, then the order of derivative which is minus alpha, minus n rather. So here we have c over. Also take note that in our gamma properties, we have gamma x plus 1 to be x gamma x. So if we extend x to be n minus alpha, that means we're going to have gamma n minus alpha then plus 1. Also, you need to note that n factorial is equals to gamma n plus 1. So we extend this n also to n factorial n alpha, so I'm going to have gamma n minus alpha plus 1. So we do that, we substitute those properties in above equation. So here we have gamma n minus alpha plus 1. We have gamma n minus alpha plus 1 over this n, cancel this n minus n is 0. We have gamma 1 minus alpha. Then we have x minus a, n minus n, that is also 0 minus alpha, and this cancel this. So we have c over gamma 1 minus alpha and 1 over x minus a, and this is not equals to 0. So this is the fractional derivative of a constant according to Riemann-Lovely. So let's make use of the capital fractional and let's see our result to find the same constant. Capital fractional derivative of a constant C. So let's see, don't forget the slight difference is that capital is of opinion that we should find the differentiation of the function before the integration. Alright, so since c is a constant, so no matter the value of n, if we differentiate it, we are going to have 0. Okay, so let's write full definitions of our integral. We have 1 over gamma n minus alpha. We have integral a to x minus u, n minus alpha minus 1 is 0 times du. So is 0 times everything here, we have 0. So you have 1 over gamma n minus alpha, figure ax is 0 times du, and 0 times du is 0, 0 times everything 0. So here we have 1 over gamma n alpha times 0, and this equals to 0. So this is the fractional derivative of a constant using capital fractional derivative, and we see this to actually be a fantastic one. So with this now, we can now move a little bit further by generally checking the fractional derivative of polynomial of any order, that is the fractional derivative of f of x, which is equal to x raised to power b. So let's call this example 2 for today. So I'm going to be using the capital fractional derivative. Okay, so let's continue, and don't forget the capital fractional derivative c of a alpha is first for the differentiation of the function, the integration. Alright, so now we have our capital derivative f of x alpha x raised to power b, and that will give us 1 over gamma n minus alpha integral a to x minus u n minus alpha minus 1, then dn dxn of x raised to power b. So now we have our f of u, that will be u raised to power b, then du. Then du. That's according to our integration. So, and don't forget the power fractional derivative, as I just explained above. For this will be given as the b factorial, b minus n factorial, then we have x, we have our u, b minus the other, then we have our du, integration with respect to du. So this, since we'll be dealing with the integration in respect to du, so b factorial and b minus n factorial are constant, so I can just bring them outside. And b factorial to gamma, I'm going to have gamma b plus 1 into bracket gamma n minus alpha, and then gamma also gamma b minus n plus 1 likewise. Then we have our integral a to x minus u n minus alpha minus 1 du. Alright, so here now just do a little simplification. If I bring out x here, so I'm going to have x in x1 minus here u over x, so that by the time I use this s to open this bracket, I'm still going to have x minus u. Okay, and don't forget everything is raised to power n minus alpha minus 1, then du. So now say let this our fraction be y, let y equals to u over x, and with that we can have our u to be x y, then our du is given as du, that will be du, dy, that will be x, the y will be differentiated, so in respect to the y we are going to have x left. Okay, so that means that with that we can substitute this for this, our u for x, our y, our u over x can take it as our y, and also our limit. Initially we have our limit for u to be a tends to x, so if we divide both sides of this, we are going to have a over x over 1. We divide both sides by x, so this will now be our limit for the value of y. So writing above equation with this, we have 1 gamma beta plus 1 over gamma n minus alpha gamma beta minus n plus 1 Then we have integral a over x1. So we have x1 minus y in the bracket n minus alpha minus 1. Our d, that is x dy. Okay. So since I'm differentiating respect to y, then I can bring this x outside because it's a constant, and this x also is power, this also I can take it outside. Don't forget this power is for both this term and this term. So I have gamma b plus 1, then x raised to power n minus alpha minus 1 times x, this x, everything over r gamma n minus alpha gamma beta n minus n plus 1 integral a over x. So we are left with 1 minus y n minus alpha minus 1 then dy. Okay, and don't forget our u okay, and we have our u here has been omitted, so let me correct that, and sorry for that mistake. In correcting that, I'm going to have u b minus n du. So that means that we still have let me take this away first, and don't forget our u is xy. So for this u, I'm going to have xy is power b minus n. Okay, and then we have our du, which is x dy. So sorry for that. Same thing applicable to this. I'm going to have x. So let me cancel this o and then take that again. So we have gamma beta plus b plus 1 rather, gamma n minus alpha, gamma b n minus n plus 1. Then since we are integrating respect to y, so we are going to bring out our x terms outside because they are constants. So for this, we have x raised to power n minus alpha minus 1, and then for this we have x raised to power b minus n, and then for this we have x raised to power 1. So integral 1 a over x, 1 minus y, n minus n minus y, then we also have y, b minus n, then dy. Okay, so here we can have gamma b plus 1, x n minus alpha minus 1 plus b minus n plus y. And according to law of indices, they are of the same base, then we add up their power over gamma n minus alpha, gamma bn minus n plus 1. Then we have integral 1 a over x, 1 minus y, n minus alpha minus 1, y b raised to power n, then y. Alright, so this minus n, this plus n minus n, this and this. So then we'll be left with gamma beta plus 1 alpha x rather x beta b minus alpha over gamma n minus alpha gamma beta minus n plus 1. So if we extend this 1 over x to 0, so we can now introduce our beta function and compare and contrast our beta function. We see that we have our beta to be what we have n minus alpha, comma this plus 1 b minus n plus 1. And the relationship between our gamma function and beta function is very simple. It's just the multiplication and the addition of what we have, that is the multiplication of gamma n minus alpha times gamma b minus n plus 1 over the additional gamma n minus alpha plus b minus n plus 1. So we see that this cancel this, this cancel this. Okay, so we now have gamma b plus 1 x raised to power b minus alpha over n minus n is 0. We have gamma 1 minus alpha plus b, and that is the capital derivative of a polynomial of b order. Let me write this. X raised to the power b. So with this now, you should be able to find the value of x raised to the power 5 over 3x raised to the power 10. Then you can now find a long polynomial that find the fractional derivative of 3x raised to the power 5 plus 4x squared plus 4. So with this, and also with the help of the properties fractional derivative, I believe we should be able to solve that now. Alright, so thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Thank you.